Check, check. Nice work, guys. Look at you guys rolling in here right on time. Appreciate that. How's everybody doing? How was everyone's weekend? Anybody do anything fun? Oh yeah, we're definitely going over meta. It's on my watch list. Hung some Christmas lights. Nice, Kevin. Very nice. Getting the spirit, but you better not turn those damn things on yet until the day after Thanksgiving. I will fight that to my death, one holiday at a time. Big Nate, man, you get in a car accident, man? Like a fender bender or what? Hope you're all right, man. Tesla. Gotcha. For sure, Brian. Yeah, Tesla rejected a big old 357 level on Monday. I was kind of hinting and telling people that last week. I'm not saying they're rejecting, just saying watch for that level there. So yeah, we'll definitely go over Tesla. I'm gonna give it one more minute, guys. We always go long, talk a lot, so I want to get started on time, but I finish my little snack I'm eating, then we'll dive right in. But appreciate everyone getting here on time. Yeah, fitness and futures. My weekend went by in a flash. Worked did some video work yesterday for a band, and today did some post-production audio work all day. I got done at 3:45 my time, so I've had like an hour to decompress, but that's right, that's life. But All right, gang, it's 5:01. Those of you who are on time, we're going to start on time because that's how it rolls. You guys put the stock name in the chat if you want me to go over something. I'll try and get to everyone. Just try and put one request in if you can. Let's get through them all. Then maybe add another one at the end if we can, but we usually kind of run out of time a little bit. So just put in one ticker at a time if you can. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys, if there's some new people here, my name is Starth1K. I'm in the Discord. Um, do these lectures every Sundays. Hopefully you guys get some benefit and learn a few things out of it. But with that, let's dive in, you guys. I'm just going to briefly go over our notes from last week. We're starting on the SPY daily chart, the daily chart on SPY. I'm leaving the Bollinger Bands up just as I start this lecture, just to kind of recap what we talked about. Not bragging because we hit it, but just kind of proud of what we've seen. I was kind of hoping and predicting a little bit that we would pierce or push over that 600 with a what I would call like a fake breakout, basically no continuation, no multi-day continuation. We pierced that upper Bollinger Band. And so when we get really extended, you guys, quick recap again. A good thing to do is kind of put these Bollinger Bands on and kind of see just where we're at. And you can see historically with these bubbles here from last week, every time we push outside the upper or the lower, we pull back into it. Look what we did. And so hopefully you guys weren't chasing the foam on that 600 breakout, because this was our Monday candle here. We pierced 600 barely, but we did, and we sold through. And we also sold through a very important trend line on the daily. So one last look at with the Bollinger Bands off before I take them off, just to clean up the chart a little bit. But so my game plan, you guys, moving forward, it's simple, or I say it's simple. My focus is kind of three things, and I'm going to put them together, kind of piece together my game plan and get them on the daily chart here. So let me get this guy out of here because it's going to be what we're looking at or focusing at. So this previous all-time highs here is my focus. So for me, my new top, like temporary top, my new resistance, any pushes into this 590.15 or 590 zone, like if we do any sort of gap ups, pre-market, and we push into that, I'm short there until we break back over the 590 zone. And for me, you guys, any perspective I'm giving, this is just a day trade perspective, not swings. If you want perspective on swings on your setup, let me know in the chat. But these are just day trade outlooks, day trade thesis. Okay, and so right now we close pretty much at the old all-time highs, this old huge wick there, that very important wick there. And so for me, 585.9, I think I actually had it like 585.82-ish, but that zone there, I'm looking to buy bounces at that zone until it fails me. So if we open over that, now I'm gonna go into a zoomed in chart in a minute, but I just want to kind of show you a wide angle look. But any holds over this zone here, and I'm definitely bullish on the day. Any sells through it or opens under it and rejection under it, I'm bearish on the day, but cautiously, because we got the daily 20, this green dash line here. We sold through it, but we bought back over it. And this purple line above is our daily 9 moving average, our 9 MA. So we have that overhead. We got a big, well, not big, but an old support overhead and now resistance. And so we got this little pocket, this little range to play in, a little $5 range to play in. Who knows where we open it tomorrow? But if we open in it, play this range, you guys, basically 586 to 590, very nice range. But we start getting some sells through and under this old all-time highs, and we got to start looking down here in this price targets down here. So that makes sense, everybody? But again, if we break over that, look to cautiously take swings down here. But for me, from a day trade perspective, we go to the hourly chart just to kind of show a zoomed in look of how we can play this. So those two lines again right here, that 590, that 585, you can see how we sold through it, and look what we did. We bounced the daily 20 moving average. Okay, so again, like I always say, if you guys are late to the puts party and you're like, oh, I bought puts down here and it bounced up and up and up and it went up, it's like, why did it do that? It's like, we'll zoom out. We bounced a very important moving average. And so for me, this is a very nice range, assuming we open in it, but very playable. I'm glad we got the sell down last week. I know we talked about, even if we come down here, This was, what was this move? Was it a couple percent, 2 or 3%? Yeah, 2.5%. So that's nothing. It may look big, if we do the chart like this, it may look like a big move, but that's only 2.5% down. That's nothing. And we sold right where we needed to, the old all-time high. And so I really like where we're at on SPY. Does anybody have any questions? North Shore on Thinkorswim. How do you enable Bollinger Bands? So you go to Edit Studies, or there's probably a couple ways, but you click this little beaker icon. Bollinger Bands is the first one. You click it, you go to Add Selected. And for me, I go this little gear icon here. And on the midline, I turn that off. I don't really want to see the midline. I just want to see around the upper and lower extremities of a Bollinger Band on the daily or weekly. That's kind of what I use it for. People use it intraday, very successful. But for me, it's kind of clunky on the chart. It's kind of messy. So I don't love it, but it is definitely a usable strategy, definitely. Or when we get a hard sell down candle and we close out of like a Bollinger Band, definitely you can take those dip calls for sure. But any questions on SPY? I'm looking at the chat. I don't see anything right now. QQQ. Again, I kind of just want to skim over these because I don't know how many requests are going to come in. We can always round back to this when we come back at the end of the lecture. QQQ. Look at my notes again. I said I wanted us to back test that 500 and we got it. I love when it works out that way. Same thing. I guess I'll throw these B bands back up quickly just to show, when we get overextended, if you miss this move here, on that breakout from basically the election, it's like, for me, I didn't chase it. I just said, you know what? I'll wait for the dip down. I'll wait for the possible sell down into some supports. And we got exactly that. So I never, I see us closing outside of these B bands. We always get back into it. Push up over here, get back into it. Push up, get back into it. Or even the sell throughs or dips down into it, we bounce off of it. And so for me, I was just patient. Didn't want to just be blindly bearish, but I was waiting for my moments to be bearish on the day, and I kind of got paid some stuff. So QQQ, this is the daily 500. You guys need to mark out 500 on your chart, that 500 to 519 pocket. It's a round psychological number. It's 500. It's like a big beefy number. And, we sold through it. We closed under it. So that's kind of a big deal. Okay. So old support is now resistance. Okay. And so when I say that, anytime we sell through, so this is our Friday candle. So anytime we push back to it, these candles right here, this focus, this zone right here, anytime we push back to it, that's where you take your puts for rejection, because if you break over, your risk is very small and you can cut it for a small loss. You don't chase this candle down here and go, okay, I'm going to hold till 500 to see if it stops me out if we break over, and you're like, oh man, it's an 86% loss. Oh, we're rejected. And we come back down, you sell for 10% gain. That's horrible trading, you guys. You play into the levels, you take calls off support. So we'll see where this big wick lines up here. And puts a resistance. So for me, this week, early in the week, until we break over, our top is 500. So mark out that 500 on QQQ on the daily. And we got a nice little pocket here, 494.42, because definitely that's the most recent wick. And you can see that wick lines up. Let me get rid of this guy. That wick lines up for this here. And so for me, when I grab levels, you guys, I look for big wicks and I look for where are the bodies closing, either opening or closing under it. We get that wick closed there. We get these wicks here. So for me, 494.42 makes sense. Again, very nice range to play in here. Very nice range. Okay. We sold through and under the 9-moving average and sold through and under the 20. So the 20 MA, the screen line, is also going to be resistance as well, but very nice levels. So for me, buy all dips into this range here and we sell under, then you take breakdown, retest, entry for puts there, because if you push over, your stop loss is small. We know if we reject, do some double top action, your reward is very nice. Your risk is small, your reward's nice. Same thing. Say we gap up somewhere like here tomorrow, we push up. I'm short with caution at 500 until it breaks over and proves me wrong. Okay, because support is now resistance. Okay, we have to treat it that way. You just keep flipping every day. That's the beauty of being day traders, is because we don't get tied to stuff like in shares. You're only making money when QQ goes up, but day traders, we can take puts and calls all day long. And so very nice range on QQQ as well. Okay. With that, I'm going to go through a watch list as I see them. First thing I see is Tesla. 357. That was a big zone. Big thick line here. Let's just color a different color so we can follow it. It's like, oh, you chase calls there. Why didn't reject? Might look at that. So this is the zone, you guys, from October 2021, 4 years ago. Okay, 4 years ago. So you can see a lot of volume here. Let's just look at the price action here from 2021. We push up, we get the big continuation. We sell through it. Look at push up, bounce, break and retest, reject. Break over, push. Break down, retest, reject, reject, reject. Sell through it, reject. Big candle buyback, reject. Okay. So why did we reject last week at 357? To me, that makes total sense. And so Ryan, that's asking about Tesla. We got some nice ranges here. So you probably already know what I'm gonna go with here. We reclaim the 9, we closed over the daily 9, this purple line again. So any dips at 313. So these are some big ranges, no doubt, but these are big important levels based off, weekly time frames. And so for me, if you miss this, so if we open at 321.28-ish, basically where we closed on Friday, and also this candle here from November 8th. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, but just kind of check this daily chart here. So now on the hourly, let me zoom out. Oh, well, let's see where we open at. But buy all dips. So we open kind of like this. You take your shots on calls here until it fails you. 328.92, basically, let's just call it 330 for a round number. And you hope, or you expect to see bounces. So when you take your dips here, it's like, well, the stock's going down. Why do you take your dips? Well, you want to see candles like this here. So, people that dive in puts here, it's like the candle opened here, pushed up. We'd have to look at a zoomed in look and see how that candle formed, but ultimately that support held. And so that's what you want to see. So for me on Tesla, any opens over 330, I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Tesla over 330. Okay. Any opens under, this is just day trades. Any opens under, I'm short here. Or if we open here, I'm short on pre-market low retest, stuff like that. And you take your profit zone. Okay, where do we sell at? You look at these candles here from last week. Candle closes, so profit target there. You grab that wick there. Profit target down here, definitely. Okay. So Tesla's in a very nice area to play, you guys. Again, it moves fast. If you guys are not used to it, I'm not going to give a big lecture and spiel on why I think way out of the money Tesla contracts are dumb. I did that last week. Yeah, 330, 321.28, 313 in our lower extreme zone, 300 if we get down there this week. And again, we catch this move up, ride it. Definitely ride this move up. But again, 357, you guys do not ignore that level. 357. Okay. Palantir. Oh, this thing's still all-time highs. Yep. Are you in this one, Lloyd? Or what's your plan with Palantir? What's your game plan? Nice break. Look at that. That's beautiful. Absolutely. That's what you want to see. Nice trend here to just extend to get it going. But, unless you're not in already, I mean, there's not much to say. Is just ride the wave, ride the breakout. If you're not in, you're looking for entry, it's definitely just retest some old levels. So you basically, I would say, look left. It's a goofy quote or a saying, but just you look left, you try and tag some old levels here, and you just kind of be patient if you're not already in. But if you're in and you're in profit on calls, you just ride the wave because it's making new all-time highs. And so that's kind of, it's hard to trade, but this yellow line is an hourly 20 moving average. So as long as you hold that, you see what happens when you hold the yellow. Just keep riding it. But if you're trying to short it and it keeps going up, you probably should have cut a long time ago. Or if you want to be bearish on it, for me, you got to get a break under this 63 zone, because you got this little cluster here, this little consolidation zone here. So, any stalls out here that start coming down, break up, come down, break up, you can take your puts there or sell down, and you can take your puts here. However, this could happen in a day, this could happen in 2 months. But for me, I look for these little cluster zones here, little consolidation. And that's really the only way. When something makes all-time highs, that's really the only time you could kind of short it with confidence, because it's like you have no information up here. When you take puts, who knows? It's just a guess. And so hopefully you're bullish on this and you just ride this wave, or any back test to the 63 zone or the 61 zone. You take your call bounce, or you take your calls off this trend line in hopes that it holds. But I can't give you much more information on that, because it's just when it makes new all-time highs, kind of like we were in the markets last week, it just makes it tough. Makes it really tough to do that. North Shore Pools wants Microsoft. I looked today, I almost added to the watch list. It's in a nice little range. It's in a tricky spot, tricky for me. So it's got this big cluster here. So I'm on the daily time frame, for anyone's interested or looking at Microsoft. So it kind of sold through, this demand, this little support pocket here, this little support zone, this 416 to 483, and it closed under it pretty convincingly. And so for me, let's see, he just said Microsoft, no bias. Okay. On the daily, I'm kind of, we got some big wicks happening down here, but it's in a tricky spot. It's in a tricky spot for swings. For day trades, definitely. We can definitely day trade this. Make it a little bit thicker so we can kind of follow our trade plan here, like I always do. I think this would be my floor for the week or short term, but so you kind of see that thick line here, and after hours it gapped up. Let's see where we open. Anything over 416, take your calls, be bullish, but with caution, because we've seen this little pocket here on what that can do. And so any calls here, take them and take them up to this zone. This would be a final profit target for the day. So basically, if you grab some 417 calls, you trim on the way up, you go to a smaller time frame, and you kind of see within this 1 hour candle of where the stops and starts were starting on Friday. Basically, you take your profits there. Or you can look back and get these wicks here. Definitely this 417.3, that's going to be a big spot over here. But any opens over 416.34, be cautiously bullish on the day. Any opens under, I'm bearish. I'm bearish for a continuation. Basically, I want, or I would expect to see that 416 reject. And so any opens under that 416, I'm taking puts here with caution, and I'm looking left, and I'm taking profits all the way down, hypothetically, to anywhere in this zone here. And if we get this move again, this would be my final, profit for the day, profit zone for the day, price target for the day, this 416.68. But kind of a tricky spot, but definitely playable. I say tricky, but who knows where it opens? Maybe we gap up, $2 gap up. Who knows? Anything can happen in the market. So very nice spot here, but definitely ideally we want to open around that 416 to make us get something playable, because when we gap up or down, to me, it makes things a lot more tricky. Will wants CSCO. Got some moving averages curling. I can already see that. All-time highs or almost all-time highs. Definitely. Will, are you in this already? Let me know in the chat, or you just want some perspective. Definitely grabbing this level. Let me get in drawing mode here. Definitely gonna grab some levels here. You're in it. Are you bullish or bearish? Swings, I assume, if you said you're already in it. Bullish, very nice. All right. Just getting some levels here for you. not sure what contracts you're in or how, if you're in profit or if you want to be bullish on it, but here's what I would do on it. So it's the daily. We'll zoom in a second. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to zoom in. So for me, definitely this week, if you are in it already or want to be bullish or stay bullish, this 57 has to hold, because we can see it was probably an old all-time high. It was an old double top zone, whatever you want to call it, from October. Rejected, retrace, breakout. Okay, breakout, gap up. That looks like that had to have been news, or that was the election. Okay, that's election pump. So we opened over it, we dipped into it. So this 57 has to hold this week, because pretty convincing, retrace, obviously, with the whole markets, but not all hope is lost. So earnings are out of the way. It looks like that's good. You got your daily 9 overhead. So two things are stacked against you. You got this 57.83 to 58 overhead. Your daily 9 overhead. So that's two things to be bearish on, I guess. And two reasons to be bullish. You got two supports coming up and a daily 20 moving average. So for me, again, this on a daily, this is not how it's going to work, but just hypothetically, you want to see or take some bounces into these zones, or if it holds, you can cautiously take your swings, because your daily 20 is going to catch up, and that's going to be support. Hypothetically, if you catch a curl here and then you take your profit, or if we come down and sell through here, it's like you take your calls with caution, because it's a big support. You don't watch this move Monday, Tuesday and go, I don't want puts yet. I don't want puts. Okay, now I want puts here. I know you said you want to be bullish, but you take calls at support. And so hypothetically, if we kind of trickle down here, this is the more ideal setup. And then what I would do, I don't play this name, but what I would do, I would just set an alert. Set alert for 57, because if 57 holds, now you got your daily 20 curling underneath it. And you got two forms of support. And that's where you take your shot. You may get an ugly, down day candle into that, but you got to think, we're buying option contracts when people are buying shares. So if you're an investor or a big firm, or just at home, and you're like, you know what, I like this company long term, where's a good spot to buy shares? 57 looks like a good starter position. So you have to expect some orders to hit there. You got to think like we trade shares, where are the orders going to come in at? Probably 57. So let's see where we open at. I'm sure even on a smaller time frame, it makes sense too. We can see the bounces there. It's like reject the daily 9, bounce right to support, and look at, we didn't get a breakout from buyers, but guess what? Sellers made no progress Friday afternoon after that sell. That is 1 hour candles back to back to back to back that held. There's buyers there. So for me, cautiously take your calls at either of these spots, or a break and retest at 57.83, knowing you have your daily 9 overhead. So pretty nice levels, 2 levels, kind of 2 or 3 levels to play with here. Nice little range. Or, if you're a day trader, calls, puts. It's never that easy, but just obviously in hindsight, mark your levels, be ready. Just don't be late. If you see this big push up, don't say, okay, I want calls now. It's like, well, you missed calls $1.20 ago. Okay. Check at the chat. Christina, IWM. Nice small cap sector name to play. Let's get the daily. Used to trade it, haven't traded in a while. Ooh, look what we got here. This might be a nice chart. Do I leave the trend line, or do I cheat and pull it away? I'm just trying to see. When I draw trend lines, you guys, I just look for what has the most touches. I'm going to leave it kind of right here. I'm going to split the difference. So we're on the daily. Sold through, no doubt, the daily 9, ugly candle, but look at that, 227.28. Okay. Resistance. 1 day, resistance 2 days, resistance 3 days. Election day, gap up. So resistance is now support. So Christina, I would treat, like I said, and ask what you're in or what your thesis is, but 227.28. Norvin, yes, I'm going to the tickers in order, man. 227.28-ish, or even 228 round number. I would treat that as support until it fails you, and your daily 20, your green dash line, 20 moving averages catching up, and a trend line. Okay. So for me, IWM, can it sell through? Can it gap down? Absolutely. But for me, I got 1, 2, 3 things to be bullish. Like, I'm not saying dive in full port. I'm saying things to be watching for. So let's zoom in here. So Monday is going to be very nice because look what we got here. Lower highs. We're just stair stepping down, taking a step down, taking a step down. So Monday, do we hit this and do we hold? Do we hit this, we sell? Or do they fake us out and they hold this close and we push up? And then what do we have? Now we have a higher low and a potential, get this out of here. This isn't going to be super clean, but just for demonstration, a higher low potentially, and we break the downtrend. So very nice request, Christina. That's a good setup. Let's see where we open. Again, in a perfect world, we open at or around this 227, and you take your dips. You know, whether you play the open and it's the 5-minute candle, do that with caution, or we bounce up and then the opening range is set and we set an opening range double bottom, hypothetically, take your calls, and you know, you take your profits, you look left, you go, okay, candle closes here, profit zone. Friday close, take profit. Trend line, take profit. You know, push up to here, 230, take profit, hypothetically. Okay. But you never want to dive in calls here and just be taking screenshots and cheering on the trade for like, look how much I'm up, guys. And we reject and we come back down, and you're like, shit, now I'm up 5%. I was up 80%. Okay. Always have a trade plan, you guys. And so on the flip side, I mean, I guess, you know, in the quote Dirty River, that this is my line in the sand, 227.28. Okay. That's very big tomorrow. And it also, that's the daily 20. Look at, that's going to open probably right there as well. So big decision day, Monday or Tuesday, probably. If we open where we closed, big day for IWM. Very nice suggestion. Very nice chart. Yeah, that's nice. And if we sell through, I guess to be bearish, again, I'm not bearish when we touch here. I'm only bearish under it. So we have to sell through, break down and retest. So when I say break and retest, it's a breakdown and retest, or if you're on calls, if we're under this, you break out and retest. I never dive into calls of resistance or puts as support. Okay. I like that one. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. George, send me a DM. How do I get my EMAs to look like a ladder? Send me a DM. I don't want to just get too sidetracked. Send me a message request and I will get to you tomorrow morning. Is there other indicators you like to run on these all the time? I'm pretty simple. North Shore Pool. I run daily 9 moving average is my green dashed, daily 20. Just for full screen charting, my VWAP is not on, but I run VWAP, which is usually blue for intraday stuff, and my 9 EMA, which is the purple solid, and my hourly 20, and that's it. And then, you know, volume, like when I'm on a day trading chart. But I try and keep the chart as clean as possible for you guys, because I know some of you guys are on your phone, your iPad, maybe there's not a lot of real estate to look at, so I try and keep it clean. But I don't do a bunch of fancy shit, you know. RSI, I only do like daily and weekly divergences, but like intraday, I don't do RSI, I don't do MACD. It works for some people. I just play the price action. I say, hey, if something bounces here, I'm taking calls. I don't need, you know, a MACD to tell me. I mean, it works. It's no hate on people that use it, but you know, you start adding a bunch of stuff, and then pretty soon you're like, man, how did I get here? I have all this stuff on here. I don't know what I'm looking at. So I just try and keep it simple. I mark my huge levels. I find my areas of interest, buyer volume, a little bit of flow for confirmation. You know, like daily flow is like 5% confirmation for me, you know, because flow can be tricky, but I try and keep it simple. NVIDIA, I think they got earnings this week. I mean, purely from just a chart perspective, NVIDIA closed at a very important level. we can see this level here, this 140.78 or 141. To me, that's all that matters this week. But again, it's earnings, and so I can't really get perspective. I'm not going to say take calls or puts here because anything can happen with earnings. Like they can, wick you out, stop you out really quick. They can push you down really quick. And so, if there wasn't earnings on, on the 20th, it's like, this 141 is all that matters. I would say early in the week, take some calls, but it looks like, earnings might be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And so just, play SOXL. That is an ETF for semiconductors. Don't play stupid out of the money, a 180 call for NVIDIA or a 115 put for NVIDIA. Like just, be smart. Don't be rude on NVIDIA. It's too hard with earnings. Meta. Yes, Meta. Look at this Meta. Loved it. Let's look at the daily, guys. Losing my voice already. Let's look at the daily. Where are we rejecting? Where is obviously? If you guys are not good charting or need help with charting, you better be slapping a line at 593. 57765. 570 is huge. That's kind of my structure pivot. We broke down that structure. 563. And we got, I'm not going to say a gap, but some, a little bit unknown territory from the breakout. And so for me, Zoom user, I'm bearish. Doesn't mean we can't fly, but I'm bearish on Meta for day trades, for swings, just because when we push, let's look at this 570, this thick line in the middle. We push over something, bounce, retest, boom, continuation. Retest over, continuation, sell down, buy back up, push over. Then we got this huge engulfing candle. Obviously the markets were pretty ugly on Friday. So for me, there's not a lot for me to be bullish on other than for day trades. So definitely we can grab this wick here. But we broke some big levels on Meta. Okay, so let's look at a day trade perspective, how we can trade this. Okay, so I grabbed that level just now. Don't want to say I'm just overly bearish, but so for me, any calls over 555, I will day trade it. Day trade it. Profit zone 1, push up, profit zone 2. Don't make profit zones taking profit hard, you guys. Look for those wicks, look for that candle body, and final target for the day, hypothetically. Okay, but any sales under, I'm bearish, or any gap ups in the middle zone and push here. Any pushes up, rejection. Oh, we're double top on the day, puts all day long. Okay, or any breakouts over. Yep, let's write some calls. But I'll tell you what, if I miss calls into 570, I am not taking calls at 570. No way. 570 is huge on Meta, big level. But push and breakout, fine. Breakout, retest, calls, continuation leg up. But Meta, I just look at the daily. We had, so let me go back to the daily really quick. So pay attention to those dashed lines, you guys. Zoom back in, sorry. We have those moving averages stacked. And so when it's stacked and we consolidate here, that always leads to a big move up or down. We sold through hard. We gapped down again. The whole market was weak. Yes, we gapped down. Now I have 2 moving averages overhead. I got 570 overhead. So I got 3 big things against me. So I guess, let me back up. For swings on calls, it's a no-go for me until we start proving we can hold multi-day, hold this 555 zone. Hold it for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, maybe take some call swings for retrace back up or relief bounce. But we break these big levels, we break all the EMAs, we sold through big zones, we're far from big zones. There's just not a lot on Meta I like at the moment to be bullish on. But again, bounce 555, we can easily go to 570 in one day. Look, we went down in one day, we can go back up. But it's just, I want to see consolidation holds for, push or bounce up. But for me, definitely I'm just day trading Meta if I were to trade it, or any sells under 555, I will continue to be bearish on it. Yep, just did Meta. George, HLYN. Man, I used to flip. This is like clean energy stuff, I think. I think, let me go to the weekly. I used to flip shares on this thing. I made a ton of money on this. On the 2021 hype. Oh yeah, yep. That thing has seen better days. But what do you think on this, George? Why chart it out? Are you in it? You want to be in it? Are you bullish, bearish? Let me know. On the weekly, just to grab some quick levels here. Held that, definitely nice level there. Get you 3 levels to get us going here. Let's see. Yes, lecture is always recorded. Hopefully it'll be posted tomorrow early. They're recorded, but I don't think they're posted to YouTube because they're kind of irrelevant after a couple days. But our HYLN, interested to buy some shares. Love it. All right. Let's go the daily. Actually, I like this setup for shares. So I don't know if the company's making money. I don't know if it's a crap company, if they're losing, but let's just, I'm not going to say ignore it, but just for the speed of the class, let's just look for purely a chart perspective setup. Like I said, I don't know whether to be an investor. I don't know if they're burning through cash, but let's ignore that, just hypothetically, just for speed of the class. So a lot of things I like here to actually be bullish on, or for some shares. So we have the 200, this yellow dash line finally curled back under this year. We close right at the daily 20, our green. We close under our purple, the 9. So those are getting stacked. And so for me, what we're going to see or want to see is a small gap up, and we want to hold this level here, and we want this 9 to hold. And then we got our trend line to hold. Okay. Hypothetically, I think it's a good spot. So let's just say you buy shares now. We come down this next support, you're risking 9%. So for me, George, when I buy shares, we're in the middle of the zone. So this is definitely a partial entry spot. You never want to dive in fully, because now, to me, when I look at a chart, you got to sit through potentially 9 to 10% red to see, hey, do we hold 2.34? Okay. Or you take a partial entry and we sell through, but overall markets are weak, so it's justified. We trickle in. Now we start holding this zone here for 4, 5, 6, 7 days. That's where I take an average down some share positions, because you never want to go full position and go, okay, let's see if we hold here. And you get scared and you're like, oh, I'm going to cut at 10% loss. And then we bounce, like, well, why did I cut? And you zoom out, it's like, well, that's a big ass support. And so for me, there's some stuff to be bullish on for sure, or to want to be bullish on some shares here. I do like this setup. We got earnings, looks like this week, or wait, no, just had earnings. Sorry. I think stand corrected. Yeah, earnings were last week. So look for these levels here. I don't know if you're good charting, but 234 is big, 256. And again, I can do this. Looks like a big candle, you guys, but on the chart, that's 50 cents on the stock. Okay. But, 50 cents on the stock, if you bottom tick that, look at that. That's a 17% gain on shares. I will take that every single time. So for me, George, I would set some alerts here, and I would just scale in. Like I said, I like where we're at on the chart. If we look left, I like what it reclaimed. But anything under 234, to me, would have to be a cut on the shares or on long swing bullish positions for options, because if we see that 234, that's going to induce a lot of selling pressure if we crack that 234. But anything over this kind of pocket, it's a 50-cent range, but it's a 17% move if you catch that. That's a nice move. So, or if you scale in, don't be blind, don't be greedy, trim. I'll take 7% on shares. Yeah, it's not 40%, but definitely right there. You got to play the chart. You never want to see 7% back to break even. Oh, show me 7% again, back to break even. 7%. It's like, man, you could have flipped that. So just trailing, stop it hypothetically, or take those trades every single time. Norvin, AVGO. Didn't we do this last week? Oh, I think we went over it. Are you bullish or bearish? What are you doing this, Norvin? Ooh, I know we talked about this. It's probably your chart. We broke a big level. Let's see where do we stop at? $163. Can't be bearish down there until that breaks. So one reason to be bullish right here is a big support level. We see we push over that continuation that we get, but three things we bearish on, our 172 broke. Obviously it's a big range, but just, from a chart perspective, when we break that structure, we can see that continuation. Now we got two moving averages overhead as well. Daily 200, it's creeping up though. So hypothetically, it moves slow, it's going to do that. In a perfect world, we range. This would be ideal. And you let that 200 catch up, and you finally get that breakout. Who knows if it's gonna be that easy? Maybe it comes down here, but any bounces to 200, very playable range here on AVGO. Kind of a nice chart, very nice range here. If that 163 holds this week, definitely a playable chart. Just trying to catch up here. ASTS. I'm in shares right now. Cornbread. Cornbread, good to have you in here, man. Glad to see you in here. ASTS. Ooh, interesting chart. I'm on the daily. I think we got some sort of little pennant triangle thing going here. Maybe let's see. Only 2 touches there. I don't love. So we got 2 or 3 touches, a wick there, and a body close under. I'll go with that. And we got that kind of sort of lines up, makes sense. Thing's been on a run. Wow. Damn. All right, let's get some support lines going in here. Let's see. Let's see. I'm in shares. What's if you don't mind putting you don't have to say your average, I guess, because if you're down or up, maybe you don't want to reveal that. But are you in profit, Cornbread, or in the red? Let me know, just so I can kind of help you out. But I don't expect you to say what your position size is or what you're in, but if you want to, you can. Definitely a little bit rangy here. Okay, I like that. We'll go with that. Average at 8-ish. Oh shit. Well, what do you want to know about this, man? Man, you were up. You don't gotta tell us. I mean, you better trimmed. You're up 65%, or you're up 80%, you better trim. Or wait, that was someone else chiming in. Sorry, average. Man, there's a couple people in this. Nice. Okay. Living room says 8-ish. Or wait, yeah, damn. First entry. You guys are crazy. How do you guys find this shit? All right. Well, this is Cornbread's chart, or his request, that is. Sorry. Earnings are out of the way. Very nice range here. Lose my voice again. Sorry. Hold on. Man. Have another cigarette. All right, big bounce off 21.64. I like that. You definitely want to see when we come back into old zones, you say, hey, our buyer's still here. Yep, they're still here. So man, shares and chart, I don't know what options liquidity looks like, but that's a 12% bounce in one day. That might have been from earnings, I'm not sure, but that's a big move there. Nice move. But very nice range. 21.64, 21.4, and 26.4 is basically what I'm looking at, but it's getting tight here. So hypothetically, or realistically, this is gonna do one of these. And so we're either gonna break down and it's gonna be a big continuation move, or break out and we take that leg up for another move up of this big breakout. So kind of a nice chart. The daily 20, the 9 is overhead. It closed right at the 9. Very nice chart though. So any opens, you're in shares, but any, I don't know what your average is, but you guys that are trading this, it's like when you catch a 12% move in a day on shares, like that's huge, you guys. Like, there's people hold shares for a year and they don't get 12% on the move. I mean, some of them do, but that's a very nice chart here. I would definitely, take your shares here, definitely at 21.64. And if you can just, like, even if you're not an investor, if you're flipping shares, like that's a 20% move, you guys, up to that top range. Like, take those shares all day long. That stacks, that builds a portfolio. We got a couple people on those. That's really nice. CAVA. Ooh, you have shares. Where do you share? Ooh, we charted this someone wanted this. I don't know, a week or two ago. We definitely got it a couple weeks ago, October, because we did this trend line. That's kind of fun. I like coming back to these names because look at a 2-line chart here. Look where that bounced, 135. Definitely buyers there at 135. Yeah, if you're in profit, you're in shares, you definitely like to see that 135 hold. If you want to be an investor, any holds on that 135, that's where you take your shot. Are you buying when it's expensive? Sure, but there's investors there, there's buyers there. Someone's buying at 135, no doubt. Like that's a big buyback there. That's a big buyback candle. So any holds over 135, but we had this trend right up, our moving averages up, and now they're kind of curling, they're getting tight again. And so the 9 is overhead, going to be rejecting, and look at it, it did reject on Friday to the penny. Look at that rejection. And the daily 20s somewhere inside that candle there. So price action's getting tight. I would probably or expect to see some consolidation here, but again, just chart it out, you guys. You guys are in these shares. Any trend line holds, you stay long. But if you're a share buyer and you're a bad trader and you full port here at 135, any break under 135, you gotta find your stop loss, because you can't be holding for huge losses on that break under 135. But as long as that holds, stick with it, ride that bull trend for sure. UPS. Downtrend, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, attempted breakout, big rejection, lower highs. I remember this gap down. Somebody asked about that. We had a lecture, and I said, any pushes up to that 200, you take your exit. We got that moving one day. That's crazy. I remember this ticker. Definitely an easy line to chart right here. Big decision time. Whoever requested that UPS, look at that 1-line chart. We break over that, you break over and see continuation, or excuse me, you see consolidation or continuation. But that's a big spot there. So this is just going to continue. It's a 200 moving average, so it's going to move slow. So I feel pretty safe drawing it like that. And it's forming a bit of this. So your 200 is your top zone resistance all day long on swings, on calls, on shares, whatever it is. Maybe hit that 20, look at rejection, 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 and this lower trend line. So as long as this holds, and look at, we got some, let me get out of this drawing here. I always say, look for those moving averages to curl. What are they doing? Push up. Those moving averages are stacked underneath. We break 134, you got 3 reasons to be bullish, okay? 134 support and 2 moving averages underneath you, definitely. Breakout retest on day trades and swings, that is a safe setup. Any break unders and retest fails, stay short. Not short swing because you got your moving averages underneath, but short day tradable for sure on puts. But man, that 134, nice chart, nice request. Yeah, very nice setup on that. Definitely 134 is definitely where you want to be looking. Pierce wants Apple, and then I'm going to go over a couple of my requests, or a couple that I'm watched to, because actually Apple was one of them. So Apple, tricky zone, kind of like Microsoft. So thick line from our lectures, 226.85. You guys can help with charting. 226.85, you need to break over that big level there, 226.85. Our floor for now, our support, 224.55. Okay. So, $2.5 range, very, very playable, but we're getting a lot of cluster, a lot of consolidation here. So what's Apple going to do this week? Apple is going to sell through this, or let me move this guy here. See you guys when you zoom out. Make charting easy. Make it easy. Apple, big week coming for Apple. So if you're a bear, you want to see continued basically 227 rejections, 226.85. You want to see push up, reject, but be aware of this trend line here. It's a tight spot, you guys. So this is a no-go zone for swings on Apple. Basically, when I look at as a my trading plan, no-go on swings, because it's like you're guessing. If you want to be calls, boom, you're in profit. Oh, I'm swinging. Oh, sell back down. Oh, I'm not in profit. Oh, I'm profit. No, I'm not. Bearish, it's like you're waiting on a breakdown, bounce, bounce, bounce. And so big spot here. So basically tomorrow's the 18th. So yeah, we should get decision time definitely on Apple this week. But a really tight chart on Apple. A zoomed in look just to kind of get our game plan here. I am bullish on day trades. Any bounces off a trend line, any bounces off 224.55, or any bounces on this hold of my daily 9 moving average. Okay. I'm bearish. Caution, because we got a trend line. We break under this, you can take puts here, but know where this trend line is. Don't celebrate, 30% up, and then we bounce this trend line. You're like, why'd that bounce? Okay, trend line. So it's better off. You can take, if we open here, you can take your puts with caution, because it's now, look at, that is resistance from Friday. If we break over, get a breakout retest, take your calls, or break under, double top, whatever, hypothetically, take your puts definitely into this wick, definitely in this trend line, sell through it, ride the wave, pat yourself on the back, because you got a structure breakdown. That's where you can cautiously, I'm using air quotes, swing some puts. But bullish on this, take your calls, profit zone. I'm just doing this quick, profit zone, final target of the day or the week, whatever it is. When you hit there, definitely. You don't want to bottom tick this Monday or Tuesday and ride it all the way up and not sell anything. It's like, what are you doing? Like trade the chart. Don't be greedy. Nobody cares about your screenshot and gains tab or your post on Twitter, Instagram. Trade what's in front of you, guys. Secure that money, then take the screenshot. Okay. But this chart is getting tight. So something, it's brewing for Apple. Who knows? But let's come back to this next week and see which way we broke up or down. Very nice chart. Okay. Let me look at mine. What did I have? Went over Apple, went over Meta. Perfect. Save some time. Uber and Walmart. I'm not in any of these, but I want to point these out to you guys. Let's go to Uber Daily. Okay. Let's focus on that thick line. Big support on Uber. Okay. Big 71 reclaim. Big buyers there. Gap up on Friday. Uber had a nice day when the rest of the market was weak. What else we got going on here, guys? We got the daily 200. It is now caught up and has curled under. Okay. 72. One reason to be bullish. Daily 200. Reason number 2 to be bullish. Daily 9 curled under. Reason number 3 to be bullish. Okay. Bear setup. We still have some overhead resistance, no doubt. Okay. We closed over 73, which is good. So for me, again, I'm not in it, but again, I'm not saying this is a good company, but this is a good spot to nibble on some shares, you guys. Okay. Take a sell through support. How much are we risking down here? 3%. How much are we risking down here? 7%. We ride this wave. 7%, 10%, 14. I like my odds. So if you guys are swing traders, you like to buy stuff with time, this is a setup definitely to watch because we're just getting beat down, beat down. Look at sell, 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 sell. Now all of a sudden, oh, bounce. You know, this is a down candle, but a bounce. Hold, hold, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of a hold, and now a gap up on a red market day. Keep your eyes on Uber because we got some moving averages curling. If this 72 holds, I like it for swings with caution because we don't know what we're getting in the market, but definitely want to watch you guys. I know you guys like trade SPY, QQQ, SPX, all that stuff, but definitely something to watch on Uber, I think. If I like it enough for day trades, I might alert something, but look at that day. That's on a deep red day on tech in the market. So downtrend, downtrend, held, 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 and now we have our double or triple bottom. And now tomorrow, if you want to be a swing trader or bullish, you want to see a higher low put in. So we have a low. So somewhere around here, I don't know where it's going to open or even up here, that is a higher, that's a low and a low of the day, and that is a higher low put in. And that is a breakup structure. That's how you find your swing trades. That's how you bottom tick and catch those big moves up. Hypothetically, who knows? Maybe we sell through this and we sell through this. Like, oh, dude, he told us to be bullish. Well, maybe. But for now, I am not, you know, I was hitting puts on this for several weeks, and now I'm very cautious until we push up to this level here, you know, to play rejections potentially or sell through and get a double top here from Friday potentially. But again, you know, your time on puts for this, or at least swinging puts, your time to swing puts is right out. And so definitely keep an eye on this, you guys, because this is what you want to see. Go the 1 hour, go the 4 hour, go the daily and say, look at this downtrend, support held, break a structure. You know, it's time to be cautiously bullish on something like this. It could be for any name. You know, find setups like this in the market, you guys. You don't just swing stuff because you closed red and you're like, ah, the hell, I'm just going to swing just because. You swing when you have a reason to. Okay. Walmart. Love playing this one. Let's look at Walmart here. I'm just going to stick to the hourly just for time. This top thick line here is all-time highs. Okay. So we pushed up, hard sell a couple weeks ago, pushed up on Thursday, double topped it. I really wanted that. I wanted that push during the market, didn't get it. I was waiting for that. Did not get it. Okay. So we're in this range here on Walmart. Walmart is decision time tomorrow. Does Walmart open over 84.34? If it does, I want to be bullish on this name. I want to buy bounces or dips into this zone here. But any sells under, man, that is probably going to bring some selling pressure because we sold under Friday's support. We sold under Thursday's bounce. We sold under last week's hold. And now it's a structure break. Okay. So we sell under, and I expect to see this price action here. If we sell under here, you expect to see that. So push under. That's why I say a breakdown, retest. That's where you take your puts because you expect to see that reject. Okay. So Walmart, very important. Another thing, look at my daily 9. If we break under, now I have resistance overhead. I got my daily 9 overhead. I got my hourly 20 overhead. That's 3 reasons to be bearish for a day trade or cautiously on swings. Okay. But we hold this, flip the script. Support holds, that's 1 reason. Hourly 20 is going to curl. That's reason number 2. My daily 9's out underneath. That's 3 reasons to be bullish, and I'd feel better about swings on this name. Because you catch some 85 calls here, you bottom tick some 85 calls, and you take this over 1 or 2 days, that pays very, very nice, you guys. You're going to be 86 cents in the money on a contract that's probably less than $100. That's going to be very, very nice. So keep an eye on Walmart, you guys. Those are 2 setups I think are very, very tradable for sure. So one last look at Walmart. Yep, we're gonna go back over SPY and QQQ, and lo and behold, it's 6 o'clock my time. So let's do that. Okay, let's build a game plan, you guys. SPY and QQQ. Take your notes, take your screenshots, or at least how I would trade this. And make sure. Yep. So this is. I mean, I know we made all-time highs last week, 600, but I'm calling this zone hold all-time highs zone. Yes, I know we made 600, but just for this class. Oops. Okay. SPY this week. And the notes I put, you guys, I don't know if anybody pays attention, whatever, but any notes I put here in the top, pay attention to that on my watch list each week right here. I'm gonna have some notes on SPY and QQQ, and it's probably gonna be relative as long as we stay in the zone. It's probably gonna be relative to the zones here. So any bounces or any holds here on this, we'll just call it 586 for speed of class. I'm not saying dive in on the opening 5-minute candle, but you cautiously take calls here. Okay, well, it's a down candle. Why do we take calls? Because look over here at this spot. Look left, guys, or if I need to zoom in, let me know. Because look at that kill candle there, and you dive in, but it's all-time highs. What did it do? Bounce, big move. Okay, because that's what you want or would expect to see. We don't get it, that's fine, but your risk is very, very small, you guys. Your risk is so small. So take your calls on any bounces or holds of 586, and we've got a huge range. I'm not saying take 0 DTEs or SPX and say, oh, 1K said hold to 590. Well, this is a day trade outlook. So if you take the 587 calls and their Wednesday or Friday expiration, just hypothetically, you trim on the way up, and this is my final target of the day. Okay, because this is a very nice range. There's no way I'm bottom tick calls here, and I hold 10 contracts, I don't trim any here, and I watch it hit 590 reject or retrace 50% down. That's stupid. So you take your calls, trim, and final target of the day, hypothetically. Any opens or closes under, cautiously, because look at, here's our daily 20. That's going to open somewhere like that. And look where we bounced Friday. So any opens under, cautiously, Friday's lows, take your calls, take your shorts here. Or any opens under, if you miss your calls, cautiously, you take your puts there, because you want a rejection down to this, profit zone, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know if I'd hold for the whole thing. Sell under, that's going to be a lot of selling pressure. Okay, this is all that matters tomorrow. Again, I don't know if we open flat. I don't know if we gap up or down. I hope we open flat because it makes it easier. But if we open somewhere up here, playing to 590 and then just sit it out, see if we break over. Okay, you don't want to watch this move up. Take your calls. And now you're deep red Monday morning, 15 minutes in the day. And you full port it. That's going to hurt. But this 586, you guys, that's really all that matters to me tomorrow. If we open around it, that's all I'm focusing on. Because look at that. We sell through that. We're going to see the selling pressure down here. We're going to start seeing, I don't know if we get it one day, but that 584, I was actually looking over here. Look how that lined up perfect. That's kind of nice. 584.45. Okay. So this zone is very important this week. So I have no bias. I guess slight bullish bias, but again, we sell through this, I'll ride the puts down. I'm not afraid to do that. But again, that's really what matters on this chart, 586. QQQ. Any gap up over or push over 500, calls. Any break under, calls, break and retest. Okay? Because you want to see this price action here. You break over on calls on 500, you want to see that price action. We break under and reject, you're going to see price action like this, or expect to see price action like this. Okay, so 500. If we open anywhere around that QQQ, that's the spot. And expect to see a lot of action. So Monday is typically a range day. So who knows? Maybe we open around there and we chop. Anything over 500, be bullish. Or if we open around 494.42, take your calls. Anywhere in the middle of the range, it's not no man's land, but it's trade with caution. Okay, so because if you take your calls, let's just say you take your calls at Friday's close, well, now it's like you're kind of in a 50-50 zone. Obviously you find a stop out, a realistic stop, but it's kind of a 50-50 spot. So for me, I take my entries where my risk is super small, my reward is potentially really high. If I take puts, my risk is super small, reward is potentially really high. So very nice range here. Again, I'm not the only one who puts out a watch list or levels. Eva does too, and there's other people that do, but just watch watch my comments or watch where we open, but 500 is huge. With that, you guys, I'm going to end the chat because we'll run long, we'll run forever, but I appreciate you guys being here, all 20 of you or however many we had. Hopefully you guys learned something. DMs are always open. If you have questions on a chart, I know we kind of have to go through these quick, but we only get 1 hour. That's just the way it is. But I appreciate y'all being here. Let's have a good Monday. Let's trade smart, you guys. Wait for your levels to come, set some alerts, and let's be ready.